We already know that there's a group of people that still love The Simpsons Hit and Run to this day, including myself, and one of the most amazing things about the game was the amazing story, the voice acting, the jokes, and of course, the little side quest that we also got to do while we were playing the game. Today we're going to be taking on the street races, but using only the secret cars. I think anyone who has played the game before will immediately know that this is probably going to be a difficult challenge for a number of reasons. One, not all the secret cars are specifically designed to be great. Some of the secret cars were designed to be gags, and most importantly, they are not always up to par with some of the better cars that we have available in each respective level. You guys will know more and more what I'm talking about as we go through the video, but let's go ahead and get started with level 1. We have the secret rocket car. Now, we all know what the rocket car is known for. It is known for being the fastest car in the entire game. However, the biggest drawback was just how fragile and easy it is to destroy. So as we go to the first race, it looks a little difficult at first. There was a few moments where I thought I had to slow down constantly. However, once we kind of get down to it and everything's pretty simple, this one's very straightforward. We succeed with this first one with ease. Now, going into the second race with Nelson, I already knew that there was going to be some trouble with this one. One of my biggest complaints about this race is how stupid the other two drivers are besides Bart. They are terrible drivers and will constantly crash into you. They will slow you down, create a blockage, or any kind of disturbance that will make this race a little bit more difficult due to the rocket car's fragile nature. If you just play very carefully and you're very smart about how you move, along with understanding the limitations of the other two cars, you should probably be able to find out a strategy like I did here. I just did a couple slowdowns, would know when to stop and when not to turn, and I eventually was able to succeed. And now we move on to race number 3, which I would say was actually quite easy since you didn't really have any traffic cars to deal with. All you had to do was make sure that the guys were not on your tail, and since you have a lot of access to all the wrenches all over the map, there was a pretty good chance that you would not destroy your car unless you were very careless about how you drive. So it's safe to say that level 1 is very doable and actually quite simple to do if you know how to drive. So level 1 we would say is a success. So now we're on to level 2, and I can already tell that this is going to be possibly the most frustrating race in the entire freaking game. So for those of you that know, the monorail is known for not being the fastest car in the level, let alone the entire game. It is mostly known for just being a total gag and reference from the Simpsons show. The monorail is not able to turn perfectly. Eventually, it will make the ugliest turn possible, and you will find yourself crashing on many occasions. So for a race, this is going to be extremely difficult to do. Race number 1 with Millhouse, I already saw that I was going to go through hell. I swear, I went through this, I don't know how many times, possibly 30 retries. I'm not even kidding. Every single time I thought I came up with a new strategy, I always ended up losing. But the stubborn person in me decided that I had to find a way to do it, and a surprise to even myself, I ended up finally doing it. Yes, I don't know how the hell I did it or how I pulled it off. It was all just a matter of how I timed the way I cut corners and the way I jumped on the little hill to give myself the speed boost, and lo and behold, I finally got it. I was so freaking proud of myself. I think we can finally pull something off despite the amount of struggle that I went through this one. Now we're going into race number 2, and I feel like I am confident that I could take this on. I found the strategy for the first one. There is no freaking way that I cannot find one for this second race. And lo and behold, yeah, I forgot to remind myself that Lisa is possibly the most annoying driver, even when I had the honor roller at my disposal and I was always getting my ass kicked despite the fact that I thought I knew the game pretty well. It doesn't matter what I did, I would always end up crashing, I would always end up getting left behind. So I thought to myself, okay, let's try a different strategy. What if I can force them to get stuck in a corner or get stuck into an object to the point where they don't move anymore? So this is the only thing I can try to do. So I went ahead and tried it, and to my disappointment, it did not work. Yeah, those two idiots were literally designed to help her, not to race against her. Don't try to convince me otherwise. Honestly, I had to stop lying to myself. I had to give up and move on to the next one. But that's okay. That's only one little failure. We can always move on to the next one. It's race number 3 with Ralph, and I think I can definitely nail this one. Once again, I was not able to pull it off. I made every honest attempt that I can to stop them in the middle of the road. I tried stopping them inside the tunnel. I tried stopping them inside the freeway. However, none of them came to any avail. So once again, I think I'm going to have to let this one go as another miss. Unfortunately, level 2 was a failure for me. It was not doable. The monorail just has way too many drawbacks to make an actual attempt at this. I have to stop lying to myself and give up, and just give up on life in total. But on to level 3. Alright, so moving on to level 3, it's time to drop a little bit of sugar into that gigantic lump of salt that we just got right now from that previous level, and we're moving on to level 3 with Lisa and the nightboat, which I once called the secret car in the entire game, so I think I'm gonna have a much better time using this one than I did with this stupid monorail. Going into the first race, I already knew that I would have a much better time since the nightboat, I would argue, is sometimes better than the actual Malibu Stacy car, so I was actually enjoying using it while doing these street races. With Millhouse, it was pretty much a breeze. I had 20 seconds to spare, so we can go ahead and move on to the second race with Nelson. If you have watched any of my videos before, you would know that I counted this race as one of the most difficult in the entire game, and that is mostly due to the fact that they give Marge the acceleration cheat unfairly, and she causes a lot of trouble, especially those other two idiots who will just crash into you at the intersection and will cause a lot of trouble for you in terms of finishing the race. However, with the nightboat, you have much better control of decent amount of speed. You should be able to take care of this no problem. I pretty much did it on the first try, so I call this one an easy success as well. I love the nightboat, thank you so much. Alright, so the first two were an easy breeze. However, I think this third one is going to be a lot more terrible, because in this race you are constantly tailgating her and you feel like you cannot catch up to her no matter what you do. Even with shortcuts, it is almost impossible to keep up. There is specifically one turn where you have to cut her off, and if you are lucky enough, she will stay behind, and that is the point where you win the race. In this first attempt, I was not able to cut her off at the right time, and she ends up zooming right past me, and I was just tailgating her, and I watched in despair as she crosses that finish line. With one more attempt, I'm just going to go ahead and try to cut her off. We do the same strategy, but this time with a little more wisdom, I am able to do it successfully. So level 3 is a success. Thank goodness, after what had just transpired in level 2. We are looking much better already, guys. Let's keep it going. Now on to level 4. So let's talk about the ATV before we get into the races. The ATV is actually pretty good when it comes to speed, and I would argue that it's actually pretty useful for racing. However, there's one major drawback that will make this very difficult to do, and it is the fact that it cannot withstand any kind of impact, otherwise it'll be spinning around like your dad after taking a few shots of tequila. Great, so I can't wait to see how this one is going to turn out. So once again, for speed it's actually decent, and already going into the damn mansion. That damn chessboard, if you even hit any of those, we're gonna spin out of control. We're gonna go into one direction or the other, and we're already wasting possibly up to 10 seconds of time doing this. So of course, there is gonna be some failure into this race. So now we have to play this very smart, and we have to make sure we are not hitting any kind of objects. So there has to be a balance of slowing down at the right time and keeping up the speed to make sure that we do not hit any kind of walls or any kind of objects. This is going to be a good challenge of balancing out your actions. And to my fortune, I found that balance that I was looking for, and I had 1 freaking second to spare, which is quite like level 2 with the monorail. So we did it, but with a little bit of luck, but I'll take it. This is a success so far. Let's keep that momentum going. Now keep in mind that for this second race, it is Nelson, and which means we have the two idiots that are back, and now we have to be careful that we do not hit any kind of objects, because once again, 5 tequila shots. You already know what happens. So good luck to me, because holy crap, we got the big green truck in this freaking race. No thank you, I don't want to do this race anymore. You know what? Video over. Okay, fine, I'll do it for you guys. Alright, so we're gonna get into this race, and already we are gonna see the problems that start to come about. The other two vehicles are gonna just crash into objects, and they're gonna get in the way, while Apu is making success all the way in first place. However, I did take note of the fact that there is a cutoff point where they run into the ramp, and then they run into the wall, where even Apu does the same thing, so that could be my advantage that I need to win this race. And lo and behold, it actually works. As long as you play it smart during that final jump, you are able to get ahead, and sometimes those cars will even crash into each other, causing Apu to mess up. Once again, a little bit of fortune, a little bit of skill, and a little bit of awareness. You can definitely pull this one off. Once again, our second race is a success. Let's keep it going. We got one more to go. Now we're going into race level 3, and oh no, it's freaking Professor Frink. Fantastic. We already know that the hover car is one of the fastest cars in the entire game, and even when Professor Frink is using it, he will most likely be driving reckless, yet very fast, so we have to be very careful with this one, because we do not want to get knocked around for this final race, and that is exactly what kind of happens. We have to be careful with every single turn, and if we have any kind of chance of winning this, we have to take every single shortcut that we can find available to us, even if it involves going through the crusty glass, because even crusty glass can cause the ATV to lose some control, so we're going to have to depend on some luck there. In our first attempt, we are not able to do it. Professor Frink runs rapid and wins the first round. In our third attempt, of course, we are going to have to go through that final jump at the gas station where it has the crusty glass, which will lead us to a shortcut, but we have to make sure that after that jump, we do not crash in anything, otherwise it's going to mess up everything for us. And in my third attempt, I am able to successfully cross into it and not have to crash into a wall this time. I think we can pull it off, but as soon as I see the map, he is tailgating me. Now I'm getting more nervous every single time. Oh my god, I don't want to spin out of control anymore. Please don't. No. But lucky enough, we were able to control ourselves and I made it right past the finish line. Amazingly, level 4 was a success. I honestly did not know how this one was going to go. It could have gone either way, but we pulled it off. I'm excited. Let's get into level 5. We got good momentum going. So here we are on level 5, and of course the secret car will be the obliteratron. Is that how you say it? I don't even know. This vehicle does seem a little promising because it is a powerhouse vehicle, so maybe if we have some trouble, we can knock some cars out of the way. So I think we can pull this one off in the first race. It's already proven to be not that good of a racer. So here's the issue with level 5. By level 5, the game is very dependent on speed and how quick you can finish things. The obliteratron is not useful for that at all, so the first race ends up being a total freaking dud. No matter what strategy I tried, no matter what shortcuts I even tried to find, there was no way to do it. So honestly, sadly, I have to end this first race as a fail. Well, that's the first race. Now let's do the second one. The one with the two idiots, of course. Nelson's races. So I think we have a chance if we try to get the cars to crash into each other, and maybe, just maybe, we can create a collision to the point where we can actually move forward and leave the other ones behind and finish the race in total. I found it very difficult to do. I wasn't able to get either of them to collide with each other. And the other part was that Bart was just way too fast, so by the time I even tried to crash into anybody, he was just way too far gone already. It was almost impossible to even try to do anything with this race. Another dud, another failure. Sadly, this level is not looking promising right now. And for the third race, we have to race Bart directly in the Farini. Holy crap, is there any way we can pull this off at all? I'm not so sure, guys. I think the most infuriating thing about this race is when I try to take the shortcut inside the train tracks. There's a crusty glass available for you to use, and it kind of gives you a little bit of an advantage. However, for some reason, when you go through the crusty glass, it gives you some kind of strange speed glitch where when you jump out, it just launches you straight into the wall where I can't even brake. But even when you get past all that, there is a chance that I could slam Bart into the wall, and maybe I can get him into the wall stuck. That way I can just finish the race off on my own. However, Bart's car is very stubborn and for some reason has some power included in it. Even when I try to slam him, he'll still outpower me. And this race has just become a dud once again. Another failure. 3 out of 3 fails. I cannot believe that I had to give up on this one. You know what? I'm passing this one to you guys. Tag team in. This is all you. Like I already mentioned, in these higher levels, we are expected to have more speed and definitely more control with our vehicle. It's going to be essential to winning these races. So here we go with my favorite secret car in the entire game. It's going to be the Planet Hype car. I know racing in level 6 is going to be really difficult and really terrifying because I know I put some of these races on my hardest races list. So let's go see how this one goes. I know the pink car will not let me down. Let's go ahead and get into it. The first race can be very challenging, mostly because it is a very lengthy one. The laps are very short. However, the length of the entire lap is actually super long, so the time actually escapes you quite often, and that is exactly what happened in my first attempt. I wasn't really paying attention to how fast the car was going, or if I was taking the right amount of shortcuts, and as you guys can see, I end up failing the first time. But no worries, in the second attempt, I know I can do this because I already know what shortcuts to take, I already know to be more careful with the time, and we are able to complete the first race. On to the second one. Oh, I'm not looking forward to this one. So I have memories with this one because I once did a challenge of can I beat this race with the Carro Loco? And yeah, it's exactly the way I thought it would go. Homer is just way too damn fast in that 70 sports car, and you're constantly on his tail and you always feel like you're never going to catch up to him. So of course, it's a very tough race to finish. However, there is one key element that I learned from racing with the Carro Loco, and it's momentum. For some reason, when they are not in first place, they end up making more mistakes than they would when they are in first place. And that final lap is where everything changes. If you can get him to jump up in the air and you get in front of him, there is always a slight chance that he will crash into objects. So this is actually the strategy that I implemented here, and with fortune and with success, we are able to do this race and everything is all good. We are 2 for 3. Let's go into the final race and see how this one goes. The third race is very straightforward. You are going from the observatory all the way to Krusty Lou Studios, and for this one there are some limited shortcuts that you can take, so you have to make sure that you take the correct ones and that you are not shorting yourself out when using any of them. Even with the shortcuts that I give myself, it was really tough to keep up with Homer because the damn car is just too fast, and of course you can't go through the bowling arm, so that shortcut is not available to you, and no matter how much in front you get of him, he will always find a way to zoom right past you just due to how good his speed is, so you have to be very careful that he doesn't crash into you or make you crash into any kind of walls. And I think what I hate most about this race is how you try to go through that little shortcut, that little staircase that has a little hallway in it, and the game will not tell you that there's a barricade right in front of it. So if you crash into it, that's already a loss for the race. You might as well just restart. I'm gonna be totally honest, guys, I don't know how this ended up happening, but towards the end of the race we ended up being neck and neck, and I swear I was so freaking nervous. I'm like, oh nope, I probably lost this race, but for some freaking reason I ended up winning it, even though with VAR replay you can clearly see that Homer was in front of me when we crossed the finish line. I don't know what happened. You know what? I will take it. If it means taking a W for my video, I'm all for it. We won. Don't question it. I don't care. On to level 7. We're down to the final level. However, we have some conditions that we need to make straight right off the bat. The first condition is we're driving the RC car. We are talking about a car that is small in stature. It gets knocked around way too damn easily. It's an RC car. It's a toy car. It's going to get knocked around no matter what happens. And when it comes to these races, we are dealing with the hearse, the car that I labeled as number 1 in the entire game. I don't know if I'm ready for this, but we're just gonna have to go ahead and tackle them all. So going for the first one, we already have the big challenge of it being a speed race. We have to lap around the Quickie Mart. However, you have to do it in the fastest time possible. With the RC car, every second counts. There is literally room for no error. If you even do such as hit a freaking fire hydrant, you're already slowing yourself down. I failed so many times because, guys, just look at this. Look at the amount of times that I failed. Look at the amount of times that I crashed into objects. And oh my goodness, the worst part of this has to be that damn skeleton car that is always placed in the worst times when I'm trying to make that final turn. It was such a horrifying experience. This is going to be a fail. Wait a minute. Oh, what's this? Oh, I nailed it. Oh, there it goes. Yes, I freaking did it, guys. Never mind. This is a success. Holy crap. I don't know how I did it, but we got the first race down. Let's keep going. So we already are running into a number of issues here. The two idiots, of course. We're dealing with the hearse, who's going to be the front runner in majority of this race, and the amount of objects that are going to be in the way. I am not looking forward to this at all. And as we start the race, yep, they become immediately noticeable. We have the lampposts, we have the fire hydrants, we have the stupid trees. Even the trees slow you down. Are you kidding me? This is going to be such a pain in the ass to complete. But for some reason, I have some kind of hope that we can pull something off. And it mostly comes from the idea that these two idiots even crash into the hearse. Even the hearse makes some stupid moves sometimes. So maybe, just maybe, we could find a way to get them to crash at the exact right time. And after possibly 30 plus tries of trying to complete this race, I finally got the perfect play. I finally got them to crash into each other. They were all distracted. I zoomed right past them and whoa, I pulled it off. Man, I don't know. Level 7 just feels like pure luck, but we're doing it, guys. We are on to the final one. We have to complete this. We have to. It is time for the final race, and I think with a little bit of strategy, we can pull off a miracle. We have to face the 3 vehicles in a 1-lap race all the way to the power plant from the school. However, I can already see a number of problems that we are going to have. One, and this one became really apparent during this race, is that this freaking RC car is a freaking pinball. And the other problem that we have is the speed. My goodness, the speed is just not enough to keep up with all these cars and how fast they just zoom right past you. Even by taking all the shortcuts possible, cutting through the Quickie Mart, I just can't pull it off. It's really difficult to do, and this is not going well for me so far. And as soon as we get to the part where we are about to run into the cemetery, a new problem arises. The RC car is nowhere near fast enough to jump over the damn cemetery. So what happens? You fall into the pit, you reset, the other cars are far ahead of you already. If it's not the Quickie Mart, it's going to be the cemetery. If it's not the cemetery, now we're having troubles at that final jump going into the power plant when we jump off the barn. He gets left behind, At the end of the day, it all goes down to speed. No matter what I've attempted, no matter all the shortcuts that I try to take, no matter what we do, no matter all the pathways, I have over 2 hours of footage of me attempting this race, and there is just no way to do it without cheat codes or glitches. I challenge anyone to even try to find a way to complete this race with the RC car. This one was possibly the most stressful thing that I've ever tried to complete while playing this damn game. I have to call this one a fail. I am sorry, guys. This is how we're gonna end this video. But it was really fun to actually attempt this. I've never thought of doing this challenge before, and it just came to my mind. And while I did suffer a lot in a lot of the races, and there were some that I had to fail at, I did learn a lot about strategy and how much speed doesn't always play a factor. However, there are some races where it will be the only thing that matters in the whole race. So it is what it is, guys. I wasn't able to complete it, but it was a lot of fun to do this challenge, and I hope you guys enjoyed the video. So if my math is right, I only got 15 out of the 21 possible street races that I could have done. And when you calculate that onto a calculator, it turns out that our score was a low 70% score. But you know what? 70% is average, and that is exactly why you guys call me the Average Johnny. So you know what? I'm living up to my name. I'm an honest person. I call that a win. Don't let anybody else tell you otherwise. Let me know in the comments if there's any strategies that I might have failed at or that I could have done, and I'll see if maybe one day I do attempt them again. But until then, hope you guys have a good day, and I will see you guys in the very next one. Bye-bye.